Today I'm so excited because I will bring you along on a tour of my Orthodox Sephardic Kosher kitchen. You will see what makes a kitchen kosher, as well as what you will find in a Jewish kosher kitchen that you will find nowhere else. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sara Malka, and on my channel I share all aspects of my Sephardic Orthodox Jewish life as a full-time working mom with small kiddos. So do not forget to leave a big thumbs up to the video and subscribe to our channel. Let me put on a pretty tichel and let's jump into it. As you can see, we have a very small kitchen, so we have to get everything really organized to fit in it. Let's start our Jewish kitchen home tour with our table as we use it every day. We keep it covered all the time with a tablecloth when we eat on it to keep it parve or neutral, as it is made of wood. If you would eat on it directly and a hot piece of meat, let's say, would fall on it, the table would become meat and we would not be able to eat milk on it anymore. To recognize if the tablecloth is meat or milk, I add a sticker on the corner. Blue is for milk and red is for meat. I do the same thing for our dining room table. In our very small kitchen, we also have a very small pantry. I have already made a video about how I organize my pantry, 3 fridges, freezers, and how I store my fruits and vegetables. And I will leave the links above and in the description box below. Of course, every item in our pantry is kosher and has a kosher symbol on it. It ensures us that the food respects our Jewish dietary laws, like there's no meat and milk mixed together, that there's no meat and fish mixed together, and no presence of seafood and other unkosher ingredients like pork. Then we have our glass and stemware cabinet. All glasses can be used with milk and meat because glass does not absorb the nature of the liquid, but we prefer to use them only with meat meals to avoid confusion and mistakes that can make things very complicated, and I will talk about that a bit later on in the video. The counter under the glass cabinet is meat. We assign meat or milk to the counter to dictate the type of food that we will put on the counter, because in a kosher kitchen, we do not mix meat and milk together, even on our counters. We do that to avoid mistakes like putting a hot pot of macaroni and cheese on the meat counter, or to have some of the hot milk pasta fall on the meat counter. Even with a trivet, either of the situation would render the counter non-kosher, which is a big problem in a kosher kitchen. Another thing that you will find only in a kosher kitchen is that we have 2 of everything. Here we have 2 sinks that are completely separated and are color-coded once again. In our kitchen, blue is for milk and red is for meat. We have different colors for the cutting boards as well. We also use different dish soaps dispensers. One is for meat and one is for milk, as often when I do the dishes, my hands are dirty when I touch the dispensers, and to avoid taking any chance of mixing milk and meat together, we use this method. We also have, of course, different sponges for meat and milk, again color-coded. I also have color-coded little scrapers like this. They are one of my favorite tools to help me remove caked up food on pots and pans without scratching any surface. We also have 2 different kelim or washing cup for meat and milk, as often they are dropped in the sink. The washing cup has 2 handles. As we pass the keli from hand to hand, we use these kelim in the morning as soon as we wake up, like I have already showed you in my Friday Shabbat prep video. We use them as well before eating bread, after we go to the bathroom, or if we touch our shoes or if we touched any unclean areas. I put my hand towels next to the sink. We use 2 different colors hand towels, as often our hand towels can be used to wipe a counter, and if the counter is not fully clean, it would potentially lead to an issue of mixing milk and meat together if we would use the same towel to wipe down a meat and a milk counter. In our first lower cabinet, I have on the top shelf everything I need to clean my veggies, including my favorite Scrub Daddy veggie sponge and also my veggie brushes. I also store in the same cabinet my 2 dish racks that are also color-coded. In each of my dish racks, I put my special Shabbat sponge. They are special as they do not absorb water, as we're not allowed to wring out water on Shabbat. I also have this nifty gadget. It is a stainless steel bar that removes the onion and garlic smell from my hands, and they work really, really well. Underneath the meat sink, I store all my oils and vinegars, and on the door, I have installed little hooks to hold my rubber gloves. I have 2 pairs of rubber gloves, one that is lined to keep my hands nice and warm when I do the dishes in the winter, and the water is freezing cold since we cannot use hot water on Shabbat. The other pair is the one I use on the weekdays. I bought them because of the positive message on them. It helps me enjoy doing my Monday chores like the dishes. Do you like items like that with positive messages on them? Let me know in the comments below. In my milk sink, I always again have the same items, so a color coordinated sponge with different dish soaps and cutting board and a keli. Under the milk sink, I have my milk rubber gloves. I also have all the veggie soaps that I will use to verify that all my fruits and veggies are bug-free, as we are not allowed to eat bugs. And if you want for me to do a more detailed video on how I clean my fruits and vegetables, let me know in the comments below. Another item you will find in my Sephardic Orthodox kitchen is a hot water dispenser that has a Shabbat mode, which means that we can use it on Shabbat because we know it will not boil the water on Shabbat, it will only keep it warm. On top of my milk counter, I have the milk cabinets, and I label my cabinets and drawers with our color-coded stickers to make it easier for the children and our guests to find the meat and milk easily. Here, the blue sticker says challah for milk. In this cabinet, I store everything I use for milk. So I have my tumblers, I have the cups, then I have the milk dishes with the bowls and the plates, and then we have the glass and the glassware and the glass bowls. Technically, because they are made of glass, we could use them for milk and meat, but again, to avoid confusion and also because their lids are in plastic, all the bowls are going to be used only for milk. I store on the milk counter all the big utensils for milk, like my spatulas, my tongues, large spoons. All of them are also color-coded white or blue for milk. Then I have my drawers. They are all labeled according to meat, basari, dairy, halavi, and parv, as we do not mix our utensils together to avoid mistakes and for someone to use, for example, a milk utensil in a meat dish. In my milk drawer, I have all the usual forks, knives, spoons, but I also have my magnifying glasses to better see the bugs when I check my fruits and vegetables. I also have this amazing item from the dollar store that I use to clean my tumblers. I put the balls in the dirty container. Here it was a leftover Nutella coffee, Neum, and if you want the recipe, please let me know. I add a bit of soap with the balls and some water. I shake the container, and within seconds the tumbler is clean. I highly recommend it. I also organize my meat drawer the same way as my milk drawers, but on a side note, for extra security, we use meat and milk utensils with different designs on them so we recognize them easily. I have my very small parv drawer, meaning that these utensils are not milk nor meat. I use them usually for baking, for fish, and the like. Everything is black or green. I have not been able to organize this drawer. It is completely full. I seriously need your help. Please let me know what you would do to organize this drawer in the comments below. In the last drawer, I store all my Tupperware. These are the meat one, of course, because they are red. I have struggled for years to store my Tupperware, and this is the best way I found. One side is with all the covers or the lids, and on the other side, I store all the containers. I love this series by Tupperware as all the covers fit into the other, and it makes everything so neat. I'll leave, of course, the link in the description box below. Next to my drawers, I have my lower cabinet where I put all my milk oven mitts, my waffle maker, my baking supply, my milk pots and pans, and so much more. On top of the lower milk cabinet, we have another upper cabinet, but this time I keep all my coffee station in it. Then I have all the glass containers and glass jars that are parv, or if you want, that are not milk nor meat. On top of my oven, I keep everything that is disposable, my disposable utensils, bowl, plates, things like that, as well as my timer for Shabbat when things need to only be on for a certain amount of time. I also have toothpicks and even more utensils just in case, as well as cups. Underneath this cabinet, we have our stovetop, and because our stovetop is made of glass, we can use meat or milk pots on the heating elements as long as they are clean. We have a warming drawer to keep our challah warm for Shabbat, which is always appreciated. For the oven, it is only used for meat or parve like bread or fish. We have another milk oven that I will show you later. The next counter is meat. We have designated more meat counters as we need more space to prepare for meat dishes, especially for Shabbat. I keep on it my larger meat utensils like my spatula, tongs, and the like. In the next cabinet, I have my spices. I will soon do a spice organization video once that I have more spices, as after Passover we're running low on spices. In the back of the cabinet, I have the large containers of spices, and I have my baking section on top of the cabinet. Next to it, I have my parve cabinet where I keep all my measuring utensils, as well as my sterilizer, my multi-blade mandolin, and I also have my children bento boxes and thermos. Under my spice cabinet, I have my meat baking cabinet. On the door, I hang my oven gloves, and inside, I store all my cookie sheets. I also have my big bowls. I have also my sushi box with the rolling mats, the little soy sauce holder. I also have my rolling pins and my ice cream maker in the back, as well as other large utensils, as I use quite a bit of them. On top, I have my meat dishes. They are a different design than my milk dishes, so we do not get confused. I also store my Shabbat bowls and my scale that is so important to make beautiful and delicious challah every week. Underneath, I have the cabinet with all the meat pots and pans. I know I have a lot, but often I will store my full meals in them to avoid using too many disposable aluminum pans. Next to it, we have the drink cabinet where we keep the water, the juices, and the yayin or grape juice to make kiddush on Shabbat. All the way to the top, we have our hand towel cabinet. From all the cabinets, this is by far my favorite. I just love seeing the towels all organized like this. We also have special hand towels for Shabbat. On them, you can read Netilat Yadayim, which means washing of the hands, which we do before eating challah on Shabbat. Under the hand towel cabinet, we have the milk convection oven. It is a smaller oven because we do not bake many milk dishes, and this size is perfect to make pizza and lasagna. Next to the oven, we have another item that you will only find in an Orthodox kitchen. It is a bug light. I place my fruits and veggies or grains on it to make sure that they are bug-free. We have one of our 3 fridges and freezers. I have already made a video about how I organize them, and I will leave the link above and in the description box below. We store our Shabbat dishes in the dining room, and it is an 18 places dish set, as we are blessed with many guests on Shabbat, thank God. In total, in our Sephardic Orthodox kitchen, we have 5 sets of dishes. A weekday milk set, a weekday meat set, then we have the Shabbat dishes, and we also have another set of meat and milk dishes that are completely kept separately and that we only use for Passover. And this completes the tour of my Orthodox Sephardic Kosher kitchen. And of course, if you have any questions, please do not forget to write them in the comments below. Thank you for being here. It means the world to me. Know that in my book, you are simply extraordinary, and without you, I wouldn't be here. If you're here until the end, please write in the comments, I love kosher kitchen, so I know I was not alone. And if nobody told you today, know that you are loved and you are enough just the way you are. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and don't forget to frum it up.
Like a bet in Greek